Welcome back, everybody. Adding power-ups and abilities for players to experiment with are a great way to spice up your game. In shooters, a variety of crazy weapons are always welcome, ranging from railguns to my personal favourite, the spread gun. So, let's have a go at making similar weapon types in Unity. Let's crack on. Using the weapon we made in the previous video as a template, we're going to make these two weapon types. The first, a tri-laser with a cool scaling effect, and the other, the classic spread gun. So, when we're ready, let's start with the tri-laser. First, let's duplicate our original weapon, and then check the box to hide it. Let's rename this new weapon, tri-laser, and let's make sure we can see the fire point. Excellent stuff. Now it's time to create some new ammo for the tri-laser because we don't want it firing the same bullets as our default weapon. For this, we're going to create a new ammo type. I already have mine as a prefab, and I will talk you through what you need to do. All you need to do is create a new empty game object, call it laser or whatever you like. Make sure to apply a rigid body 2D to that object and not its children, which are the lasers. I have a sprite sheet which you can download, link in the description, to make your lasers. And what I've done is I've taken one, applied a box collider to it, made sure it's a trigger, and simply duplicated it 2 more times. Then I scaled down the parent game object to 0.1 on the X and Y. The reason for this, you will see back in our scene. So, when I drag the laser into the scene, you can see that it's tiny. We're going to scale this up to a maximum of 1 on its X and Y using a pretty handy and pretty flexible script that you can apply to any object you want to scale between a minimum and maximum value. So, go ahead, create a new C# script, which we will call scale over time, and open it up. Okay, so first our variables. We want a public float called scale speed to control how fast the object is going to scale. Then we're going to want 2 more floats, a min scale and max scale, with the maximum scale being the biggest the object is going to scale to, and of course it's going to scale from a minimum value as well, which is currently 0.1. Then we want a vector2, which we'll simply call scale. Now, what is scale? We'll define that in our start function, and we'll say that the scale equals the transform.localScale of the object. Now, what we want to happen is when the laser leaves the barrel of the gun, it's going to scale up to its maximum size, its max scale. And we do this in the update by stating that the scale equals a new vector2, open up some brackets, and we'll use mathf.clamp, open up some more brackets, and here we will define what we want to happen on the x-axis, so scale.x plus equals scale speed times time.delta time, then the 2 values we want it to scale between our min scale and our max scale, and then comma scale.y. Underneath is the same except repeated for the y-axis. So here the scale.x remains as it is, mathf.clamp, then the brackets scale.y plus equals scale speed times time.delta time by, of course, the min scale and max scale. Then we want to state what the change is, so therefore the transform.localScale equals this new scale that we've set. Give that a save, head back into Unity. Let's go to our laser prefab, make sure we apply the scale over time script to the parent object of the laser. Give it a scale speed of 7. Our minimum scale, we'll put 0.1 on a max scale of 1. Make sure that saves. And to demonstrate, if I hit play, our laser scales from its minimum to its maximum size. There we go. That looks great. So let's head back, remove the laser from the scene. Let's lock and load our laser weapon with the appropriate ammo, hit play, and when we hit the trigger, we have this really cool, expanding, high energy, triple laser weapon. That looks really good. And like I said, this code is quite flexible. You can apply it to any game object you want to scale. It could be a platform, a power-up, whatever you like. So that's one weapon type down. Let's have a look at making the classic spread gun. To make the spread weapon, duplicate any weapon you have and rename it to whatever you like to call it. I'll just call it spread gun. There we go. This time we want to duplicate the fire point. So we have 3 of them. Now you might be wondering, well, the weapon controller script only accepts 1 transform for fire point. Not to worry, we are going to change this to an array of fire points. So we'll be able to put all 3 in there in a script that is identical to a weapon controller. So let's duplicate Control D, our weapon controller script, rename it spread controller, and open it up. Okay, once you open this script, you'll see there's a lot of error lines all over the place. This is because we duplicated it from the weapon controller script, so its class name is still its former name. And because we already have a weapon controller, there cannot be 2. So do make sure to change this to match the name of the new script. So mine was spread controller before we carry on. Then all we're going to do is change this transform to an array with some open and close square brackets, and we'll just rename the fire point to fire points. Great. After that, let's go to our shoot function, where you'll now see an error regarding the transformer fire point. This is because before it was looking for a single transformer fire point. We now have an array of several. So we want to get the transform of each of those fire points in our fire point array and instantiate a shot from each one of them. So underneath, let's add a for each loop, and in the brackets we will say for each transform of fire point in our fire points array. So we're going to get the transform of every single fire point in that array, and we can copy and paste this code in there like so, and we can go ahead and delete our former code there. There we go. Now hit save, head back, and when everything is ready for the spread gun, go ahead and remove the weapon controller script, so remove component, and let's add our spread controller instead. There you'll see we have the array fire points. Size, we have 3. There we go. Now before we place our fire points in the array, we want to change the angle of the top and the bottom one. So they're shooting up and down. You can play around with whichever values you like. I found that the rotation on the Z-axis of 11.25 works for the top, and likewise minus 11.25 for the bottom. Then go ahead, load up each fire point in our fire points array, just like so. Don't forget to load it with an ammo type. I'm going to go with the larger sprite in the sprite sheet provided to create my spread shot. Add that in there. Give it a shot speed. I want mine a little slower, so a shot speed of 10, shot counter of 0, of course, and a slower fire rate of 0.2. There we go. Do not forget to also hide the tri-laser. You don't want to fire both at the same time, unless, of course, that's a mechanic you want. Hit play, and when we fire, we now have a nice spread weapon. Excellent. Quite similar to Contras. Happy days. As always, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope this tutorial proved helpful for you and your projects. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask. And next time, now we have these weapons created, let's look at adding them to weapon pickups. Take care, guys, and I will see you soon.